it is just another night that we have here, where we just talk, and I know people labaningi babanda ngokuthi etikhatsini tebumaduma kangaka noma etikhatsini where we feel like nimzabalazo waseswatini ubonakala mhlawumbe taking another turn towards it. We need to talk about the private sector being a bandu labak private sector, living in the world where la kona Eswatini I private sector. These are the people laba sebenda titolo, babo cashier, baba pagisha la eba shelfing. You know, the people laba sebenda gusasati moto ema filling station. You see the people laba skase labantwana emakhaya bukadinpo betu those people abasebenza kuma construction sites labasakhela imigwaqo who works kulama kontraki ngoba labanye lama kontraki aka semagesini and all that. All those people that work out them lokanza kusibona, they don't have people lababakhulumela. You see the sisters of ours abasebenza titoti mandi and all those people who have nobody to speak on their behalf. I feel these are the people that we represent. Political relations like Eswatini. I feel they should be representing those people, because those people are the ones that are the most affected, basically, in poverty. Because you can't still tell if 1,400 rands is a basic salary. That thing definitely is something lema wasiti maswati, especially laba ena below laba 1.4. At 1,400 badala rent 500, which is definitely usana 900. Kulumeni umuntu usana naye kuzafuna ukudla, kuzafuna ukudla bantwana. Lo muntu loyo basically ude emandla ekunqoba noma ekwenda lutho empilweni yakhe. Impilo yakhe yonke iphelele nje lapho. Shothi kahle kahle the employee umnika imali ukuthi according nje ukuthi to keep this person alive to continue working. So siyababona nje we see salary reviews for the civil servants and all that, but we don't see tinyonyane leti representa labo sisi bethu labasebenza emafemini, labasebenza titoti mandiya who are subjected to 1.2 1.350 as a salary. We don't see letinyonyane leto bakhulumela the basic wage kuze bakhona kutophila. Lokusho ukuthi if ude certificate maybe sawugcine ka form 5, isalary South Africa ithi wena uhola 675, which is way low compared to South Africa, which is the basic minimum wage per hour 29 rands. Ganzi lirandi nelangeni liyafanana. So siyabuva ke buhlungu ukuthi they are out there, bavuka bahamba baye emsebenzini basebenze babuye bavukise baye emsebenzini, but ekugcineni kuphela umnyaka they still have nothing to show for it. Labanye bafunzile baqedza sikolo bayitheshayi baqedza basikude imisebenzi enabo sisa bakathoza baqedza bafuna le misebenzi kushaye mathila titolo kusebenza la titolo, because they have nothing to show for it, because kude imisebenzi. The system it doesn't care about peasants noma ayinenzaba nalabantu laba pasi laba fukuzako, kanti ngibo the who are making the life easy for everybody. Because that many says today I'm not working, it means lipoiza a civil servant, a government official akhona emsebenzini uthasana bantu. If lo petrol attendants athi namhla I'm not working, it means ukuthi utokhona kwenza imoto yakhe ayemsebenzini ngisho makhumi yakhona kwenza, which means there could be a standstill of the whole economy. These people are the one who drives, who push every day the economy, who keeps our streets clean, our malls clean. But kuto letinyunyane leti bamelelako or letinyunyane leti lekumele ngabe tiyabamelela, letinyunyane leti kumele ngabe tikhulumela emalungelo abo. They are just quiet as they are quiet right now. Basebenta emasimini emoba abo pineapple, basebenta kukhethe emaqanza and everything, and they are subjected kubaqashi laba titshela ukuthi banemagunya because bona bathi lo setulu nazo setulu kangakuthi bahlubetanga ukuthi bathi hamba uye kaSima khona kude mina labanga ngenda kona kaSima ke mina ngiconnected etulu nginamaswati ke lawo that we should all represent than all the other people labakhona even. So our political parties should be the one that unites those people akhone kubalekelela noma ke kubasita in the direction. So I'm just reflecting tonight, or I rather say in the morning, that we're going to see we need to do something about it in terms of demanding fair wages for those people. We really need to demand. So in our conversations we talk about these things and we share these ideas with these people so that because when you unite these people, definitely these people can make a change. Because the union they don't represent nobody now, but it's Mali, but it is atinagwa the unfair dismissals and misabending. On our side, this is where it gets interesting. We get a lot of people targets but also puti bamkoshile emsebenzini, it was unfair ngangsita nani, please exploit this policy, he's exploiting us there and there, but yethi ambuta unayo union athi nginayo but kuto ngisita ngako. So ukuthi tisebenzini need to unite and either kube namahlahlandlela that will create a union yetisebenzini on the private sector leta kwathi kumele yetisebenzini and demand better wages, better when the working conditions and all that. It is very far-fetched at the moment. A lot of people don't believe it, but it's something that needs to be done, and literally it's out there. Labanye basebenza overtime and they don't get paid their monies. Labanye is unfair dismissal, abuse emsebenzini and all those things that you can say, but good labanga khala khona because baphathi they are connected to those who are up there. I was watching another movie just now when I just thought I should share and reflect with this, whereby I was watching a movie called Assassin's Creed, where well in Asia or whatever, in India in those 10 BC centuries, whereby there was a tribe or a group of people who called themselves the Creed. These were assassins, these were people, these were hardcore killers. They were trained at birth to kill, and their generation were a generation of killers. And the umsebenzi was to kill everyone who was corrupt, either a government official, kings, or all the people in power who were corrupt. There would be the justice, and they say, and the slogan was, we work in the darkness for the light, we serve the light in darkness. So basebenda ebunyameni basebendela kukhanya. So they would kill anyone or eliminate or rather assassinate anyone who was corrupt. They were thinning out those people. beba participate kuma elections or anything that comes on a politics, but once the leader elected by the people doesn't serve the people right, they would eliminate that person. It was, I was just thinking on that movie was, oh, by the way, if we had something like that, if it still exists, a lot of leaders would fear the people, would serve the people right. Where there's injustice, there would be justice. They would kill corrupt judges, police, and all those things. But I'm not on that note. I was just reflecting on this. Oh, in a society like that back then, it used to work. Right now, it's like we say about Kuruma, we respect, we love, we fear the people who are corrupt. Labadla imali yamaphilisi or labadayisa amaphilisi abokoko natigulane tibhedlela. It's like right now we can't even call them to order because of those systems were not in place. I remember ngesikhathi sekunema solidarity forces before they were exposed or known, we could see them dealing with amaphoyisa lamaningi who were corrupted at the time, and everyone was afraid ukuthi makupostwe isithombe sakhe someone would, you'd find yourself in trouble with them. It was almost the same system, except that it was driven by a certain ambition. It was driven by greed. It was driven by ego of certain people who were dealing with it. If it was a well-groomed entity without pride and ego and that egocentric behavior of leaders, it would have been far where leaders would be respecting people. But I'm on that. I'm on a point where to say good to kulmela tisebeng, good to kulmela the peasants. And if emaswati angat kulmeli wona, and emaswati wona ngikwawo angathi khulumeli wona kude utawakhulumela. Uma emaswati wona ngikwawo angasukumi and rise and say we stand for this cause, this is what we want, then kude utawakhulumela. You'll see other people badlodlobala banenyene tabo bothishela nje benyene tabo in the civil servants, but the peasants, it's like kude nje lobanakile. So they need to rise up, babe together bona, and bona ngekwabo bakwati kusukuma bakhethinywe tabo let itaba represent in terms of as wages is concerned, as far as better working conditions is concerned, as far as developing themselves in economy and empowerment. Because if they don't empower themselves, who will? If they don't unite and create jobs themselves, who will? Because the government has dismally failed these people in that regard. And nabo content monetization, nabo content creation kwa kwemali kwa Facebook, nabo YouTube, and I've heard this so-called Minister Savannah talking about these things and saying they are on the pipeline, and she's actually misleading Lamaswati because she doesn't know what she's talking about and what criteria or what things to follow or to apply for liberty. You can't be an eligible country for monetization if your policies are not in place. You don't have a policy when it comes in terms of broadcasting itself. Ema license gute abaningi abantu labamnyama kuya ngokuthi ngumsawabali uzuthola i-TV license njengoba babechawe mamba nje because ngumzala wale, you see, a typical Swazi or umvana lofunzeni likokwini film and TV ngeke azanikwe le TV license or le radio license noma ngabe uqualified kangakanani, because they believe ukuthi no laba they will expose all these people. If you give them the platform, will talk bad about the king, they will be not regulated and not so forth. So they don't have the policy in place for broadcasting. They don't have a policy in place for even social media as far as guiding people and policies, because even if they do create those policies, they would be made to minimize, to suppress them, to silence people, especially the freedom of speech. So when you apply internationally for these things, they look at your country's policies in as far as human rights. See, this in my rights, we don't recognize the LGBTQ community, which is part of those guidelines. Apply or content monetization, partnership, Google, and all those things. So kusafune bayo-revisit abalungisa amalungelo lawo, baphize babuke nemalungelo abo democracy, bo freedom of speech, ukuthi ungeke ubabophe labantu so ngemithetho yakho la kakhona nje sinemithetho lo-harsh we-cyber crime, especially if you uthuka umuntu online or you say something, lo mthetho ozwadeni yakhona kudonsa uhamba ukuvalela ejele akucharge nge-cyber crime. So bayakubuka konke lokho, the laws of the land, ukuthi comply yini nemithetho nema-regulations abo, and if they don't, they will not pass. So Southern will still remain unmonetized like many other countries, lafana bo Zimbabwe, where there is dictatorship. That's the Swatini, where there is dictatorship. They don't grant. So nyamva nje uyangena kule platform ubhizi yakhuluma uye ngemaswati, nyamva uze uthi now that will teach people coding for about 300,000 Maswati. Umafunza Maswati coding when literally most of them are computer illiterate. And coding say useless because now AI. Now AI generates code, so you can't teach people coding when already about AI who does the coding on behalf of illiterate people. It doesn't make sense, young. So Mzamagusi, you have ministers who don't know what to do, who are clueless about the IT industry itself, the information and technology industry. Akati nix leyamagelo ya uyakhuluma nje, and namaswati lamaningi udwafunza coding kunabo AI that generate codes. Ungavula ChatGPT nyalo ubhalele code. You don't need to learn that when AI is already available. We will need to find innovative ways because we are still coding, but good to my policies in place to say mana kenje application mi app mine good imithetho futhi good ne license lena apply lena khona regulate as what it good lama policies. But yeah, this person is talking, but all in all I'm trying to say is we as a people, nalama leaders lakhona thine sidzinga ukuthi sikwade kubumbana and create our own forums, and sikhona ukuqala amabhizinisi ethu SD70, and sikhona ukuthi siticashe thine and eradicate poverty amongst ourselves. Because if it's if we have our own industries, we can set le rate which is sihola kangakanani sihola malini we betumvulo regulated, because Eswatini, the rich are getting more richer, the poor are getting more poorer. Disebendi mandla ato ayaphela utawasebenza mandla bushibakho uyofika 45 50 so ungasakhona ukusebenza and retire, uthathe leyo retirement yakho leyo kumbe ndlela nthungeni uhambe uyozama kucabe one room yakho bantwana baqhubeke balambe, and you have nothing to show for it after 45 years of hard labor. Usebenza usumile mandia, usebenza security guard, usebenza ugeqa umoba, usebenza cashier, uzu retire when you have nothing to show for it, and that is a very sad. So athi mabadu kusukuma and stand up for themselves, so that they can go out there and start businesses for themselves, so they can bangakhona kuhlangana bakhona ukuqala clubs, so they can build the economy yabo angisho mina economy ukuthi bese bayithatha labanye bomakhonjwa ngenhloko bahambe bayisebenzise sinoma kanjani bathi laba bakhona ukuthi batendele bona, because if we have the people's shops, if we have the people's wholesalers or the people's grocery shops, whatever you want to call it, the people's retail shops, the people's farms, the people's meat, you understand, to compete with abo beef and go into or a group of men, you understand, because we can build and build businesses out of that. So if you listen out right out there, no matter how small you are, but if you do believe, you need to talk to another Swazi about Lenzaba. You will see they need to form a union for disability in private sector. Let have a very formidable. Let have kona kuba kulumela. Let have kona kuba melela. Let have kona kuba organizer. Guti gutale ma business. Bakone guti ba tikashe bona and bafugule mnoto bona, because as per Lumtoro Segelo we have room, so we can look at Lumtoro Segelo and see ways on how we can develop ourselves using that, because abamele Lumtoro Segelo ube a weapon towards the people, but it should be a tool or an instrument for the people goes back on the. So sometimes instead of just looking at Umtsetho Segelo as a weapon the regime uses to oppress the people, we find loopholes go and how we can use it against them. If uvuma ukuthi kube nema co-ops, uma uvuma ukuthi kube netinyonyana, uma uvuma ukuthi bantu bangakwati ukuqala ema business as abo, then they should do so as a group, as a community. But there's those who identify as peasants, those who identify as third class citizens, down there la papazi kupitsitele kubanjwane, because we have to fight and overrule lento ye divide and conquer lento ukuthi asibacabanise bodwa babe titsa botwana, even if they do have a common goal, but bazondana nje ukuthi tikiba atifani tonge litinto lethu. So that's it. Guys, ngicabanga ukuthi ngiloko, and hopefully those who have heard it was a late night chat and we will fix it. Nami will participate into collaborating in making this happen.